Huntsinger Farms was founded by my great-grandfather, Ellis Huntsinger, in 1929. He was a door-to-door lightning rod salesman. There's only so many lightning rods you can sell, I think, before you run out of houses. So he switched gears and went into horseradish. So he discovered that this area, the soil, the conditions, the weather, was ideal for producing very high-quality horseradish. It was just a half of an acre at the beginning. And then he was able to have a very nice product that just grew regionally to be a very big, successful item for him. We are anywhere between 700 and 900 acres of horseradish per year. We produce over 7 million pounds of horseradish a year, but it can be up to 8 or 9 million pounds depending on what the yields are that year. This is a horseradish root. This is what we're most interested in harvesting. And actually this will grow some big, beautiful green leaves, but we don't do anything with the leaves. What we're interested in is the big, hardy root under the ground. And we'll clean this up and wash it, and then we'll grind it and bottle it. And this is essentially what goes into the finished goods. In growing horseradish for over 9 years, we've had the opportunity to experiment around with different varieties of horseradish. And what we're looking for, again, is a bulky root. So we're looking for that yield, we're looking for disease resistance, and we're looking for whiteness and that pungency, that heat and flavor that are signature to our product. And over the years, we found that there's one variety that works best for this region. We're using a variety called Big Top Western. One of the neat things about Eau Claire with regard to farming is that we're quite close to the 45th parallel. There's something magic that happens around this region with the soil and with the climate that we have here. It's really good for growing certain crops, horseradish being one of them.
Wisconsin's got quite a few different soil types around here. Horseradish grows well in heavier soils, so if you put on a lighter, sandier soil, you can harvest better, get more of the root out of the ground. If you got a heavy soil, it might be a little bigger root, but it's a sacrifice. You start losing some root trying to get it out of the ground in harvest time. Horseradish, we need a 7-year rotation for horseradish to get good quality, white, good flavor horseradish. So we use corn, soybeans, and alfalfa in the rotation. We plant about 25 to 30 acres a day. These are 36-inch rows, 36-inch row spacing this way, and in row spacing the population is 2 foot. So if you go from the head of the plant here to the head of the next plant, it should be about 2 feet. The benefit of that is when you go to harvest, you're not harvesting all that dirt in between the rows. So you're picking up less dirt and separating the horseradish onto the harvester itself. We go to harvest, we do about 15 acres a day. We'll harvest the seed stock from that dug horseradish. So we actually break off a piece of the root. So we're looking for small finger size, 1/2-inch diameter, 8 inches long, 10 inches long, and we'll put those in the ground. These are horseradish leaves that are probably 2 foot tall. They'll get about 3 foot tall, another foot taller. We actually plant the horseradish, let it grow for 12 months typically. We'll harvest it. We'll bring it into the sorting sheds. We'll take off the seed stock that we need for replanting. And then from there, it goes into cold storage. We are in the cooler, the lower cooler we call it. It's about 36 to 38 degrees year round. This holds about 1,200,000 pounds. That's about 160 acres. Typically the horseradish stays in here from 30 days up to about 8 months. We got a sprinkler system in here to keep it humidified, keep the horseradish crisp and firm. We'll take it out from here, send it through the washing process. It's sorted again one more time in the final inspection before it goes to processing for Silver Spring Foods. We've got a wastewater system here that we use for washing our horseradish. Retention water in the pond here, we use that through our irrigation system. We go through about 5 million gallons of water annually for washing horseradish, and we take that water and use it again to irrigate the crops.
One of my goals for the company is to leave the company in better shape for the next generation than when I found it. We can have a long-term approach to some of the decisions that we make, and one of those is sustainability. So from the farming practices and the rotation of crops to the saving of water, the water retention pond, and now we invested in solar. Solar is a great way for us to harness the energy of the sun to help us with this horseradish crop that we're actually taking that energy and helping cool the roots. So these solar panels are actually helping us keep our product cold for a long period of time in a sustainable way. We actually installed the largest system that our energy provider was able to provide us. And it's going to account for about 18% of our energy on the farm. Huntsinger Farms represents our farming operation. So the purpose of Huntsinger Farms is to grow the highest quality horseradish at the lowest possible cost. On the manufacturing side is called Silver Spring Foods. And that's where we ship all the horseradish that we harvest at Huntsinger Farms and we're able to clean it, grind it, bottle it, and then ship it to the US market. I believe Ellis named his product after Silver Spring, which was named after a freshwater spring here on the property. And it connotes that purity. I think what he was trying to convey to his customers is, we use pure horseradish in water and vinegar, and that's it. Very simple product. This is our finished product that we bring to market. It is what we call prepared horseradish. One of the interesting dynamics about horseradish is that the root itself isn't hot until you start chewing on the roots, or in our case, we start grinding it. So the finer we grind it, the hotter the product can be. It will release something called allyl isothiocyanate, which is what gives you that zing, that tear-jerking zing. So I'm going to give a try to demonstrate that this can bring truly a tear to your eye. It takes a couple seconds, and then wham, it goes up into your eyes and makes your eyes water, but it's got this really great earthy flavor to it. And what's kind of neat about horseradish heat is that this heat hits you really hard and then it's gone. This is very similar to what Ellis would have sold over 90 years ago. One interesting thing about all these products for horseradish is you have to keep it cold to keep it hot. So sometimes it's hard to find them in the market because consumers are looking in the wrong place. You gotta look in the refrigerated section. There was probably about 20 years ago, we were able to discover a horseradish sauce that you can actually put on the shelf. Put it in a squeeze bottle, make it a little bit more convenient for consumers. It's about a year shelf life on this product, and you don't have to keep it in the refrigerator until after you open it. The primary uses for horseradish are going to be prime rib and roast beef. Another really popular one is to make your own sauces with it, primarily cocktail sauce. But we're finding that horseradish has so much pungency, so much flavor without the sugar, fat, cholesterol that consumers are really experimenting around with adding it to a lot of different things. You can use it as an ingredient in your cooking, or you can use it just straight as a condiment. We actually, during Thanksgiving, of course, growing up in the horseradish industry, we would make fresh cranberry sauce. And of course, we would have fresh prepared horseradish on the table. And we mix the two together, and lo and behold, we have this great cranberry horseradish product that we thought was so delicious with poultry that we decided to commercialize it and come out with a cranberry horseradish product. Horseradish is also a great combination for Bloody Marys and adding a little bit of kick to the Bloody Mary. All the signatures of the best tasting Bloody Marys are using fresh ground horseradish. One of my goals was to really understand what the chemistry was in horseradish. So about 3 years ago, we developed a way to measure how hot one root was from another. And it's a new innovation that we're going to be introducing called the zing factor. And the zing factor is a scale to be able to measure the heat of different products, from a zing factor of 1 all the way up to a zing factor of 5. In the food manufacturing world, it is critically important to know where all of your ingredients are coming from. We need to intimately know what the conditions were like, who is behind the farming. We just happen to have the advantage because we are the farmers as well. We are able to control the quality of the horseradish from the field all the way through supply chain into the factory and out to the market.
What makes a good horseradish? Tender loving care.
There's a seasonal component to it. So when you need to harvest, you absolutely need to do everything you can to harvest. And the weather has some kind of play in that. So I think it's pretty exciting in that regard. For those who like that diversity of work and work outside, I think farming is a great career.
Every day is never the same. It's always new challenges every day. You wake up and you decide that, okay, you got a good plan for the day, or you're gonna go out and you're gonna cultivate or mow hay or whatever it may be, and it rains, you change your plans. So quite a multitude of things to do. Never a dull moment.
One of the neat things about growing up and getting to work with our farmers is learning that strong work ethic that you get from farming. And the businesses that are around here that are in agriculture and farming are long-term businesses. They're family businesses, and they've been quite innovative. And I believe that they're going to continue to innovate to be able to bring some of the best-in-class products to market using the strong labor force that we have here, the great soil conditions, and then that perfect climate for certain crops. So I think the future is very bright for agriculture in Eau Claire.